3 kids in my house right now and no other adults. So
Oh gosh, good
we'll
luck.
see how that goes.
And you're cheering. Good for you.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't think they'll, nobody's going to die. My mom's coming over in an hour, so we'll be fine. All right, my clock's reading 2:00, so we'll call the meeting to order. I think Mr. Scoble is going to be on his way, but we can get to that when that happens. So attendance, we've got Councillor Mackay and I are here. Mayor Heron is absent. And I guess I'll call the meeting to order. Agenda, any changes we'd like to make? No. My only question, I guess, probably to you, Carrie, under emergent items, are we thinking about putting kind of the facility discussion in terms of the announcement, or?
Well, my understanding is that Percy will be providing some of that information in his report. And then we get into the emergent items. That's when we may need to go into camera for some of that discussion.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm just going to adopt that agenda, and then we've got the minutes from June 4th. Any concerns with those? No. Okay. I'm going to adopt those as presented, and we're going to keep going. All right, I think we've got, okay, so next on the agenda is the provincial update. So is that, Percy, is that you?
That would be. So I'll start with the provincial update. In terms of information, there are 61 states of local emergency in the province at the current time. 4 are flooding related, 57 are COVID related. At the current time, there's 137 municipal emergency operation centers activated and 4 provincial emergency operation centers activated. As of June 10th, 47 new cases were confirmed in the province of Alberta of COVID. In Canada, there's a total of 96,700 confirmed cases. Alberta, there's 7,276 confirmed cases, of which 371 cases are active. In the Edmonton zone, there's 645 confirmed cases and 134 active cases. St. Albert numbers have been adjusted slightly. There are 30 recovered cases at the current time and 0 active. Sturgeon County, there are 7 recovered cases and 0 active. New information was put on the provincial site with a relaunch status map with notifications. So this this map actually provides an opportunity to sign up for notification on geographical areas that may have additional measures applied to address outbreaks. What the map does is it breaks status out to municipal boundaries, and each region is either a municipality of 10,000 or greater, such as a city, town, or a municipal district, and then communities smaller than 10,000 are included in the surrounding district. How those statuses are marked, they're marked either as open, and with low level of risk, or no additional restrictions in place, and less than 50 active cases per 100,000, which is where we would be at. A watch, where the province is monitoring risk and discussing with local government and community leaders the possible need for additional health measures, and that's at least 10 active cases and more than 50 active cases per 100,000. And then enhanced level, which risk levels require enhanced public measures to control the spread. And it's informed once again by local context. Obviously, everybody's well aware of the province's stage 2 announcement commencing June 12th. And there have been a number of guidance documents that have been produced and will be discussed a bit later in the EOC briefing. Stage 3 timing is still to be determined by the province. And kind of the timing is based on a number of health indicators with some restrictions and enhanced protection controls will be in place. For 2020-2021 school years, school authorities are to plan for 3 Septembers for September. Scenario number 1 is the preferred scenario. Number 1, in-school classes will resume with near normal operations with health measures in place. Number 2, in-school classes partly resume with additional health measures. And number 3, at-home learning continues with in-school classes being canceled. And the province will be providing further guidance on that information. And that's what we have for the provincial update at this time.
Okay, any questions on that? All right, we'll move her along, and I think next is EOC update.
So for the Emergency Operations Center update, essentially we're now at the point where the Emergency Operations Center has been in operation for 90 days. Basically, when this started, nobody expected that. We expected a marathon, but it's still a surprise to be at that point. We're continuing to still operate on the core values of safety of residents and staff, property safety, and environmental safety. We're still sharing information with regional partners and our municipal contacts and having regular meetings that do that. We're monitoring press releases from the province to help with our planning and preparations for re-entry. And there's ongoing work with the province to help gain clarity on what's occurring with the provincial relaunch strategy. And I apologize, I didn't turn my phone off there. We're also planning using provincial guidance documents and are continually reviewing those documents because there's significant changes that we've noticed in these documents with no notification or change in versioning. And an example of that was initially there was some guidance on pools that none of the leisure facilities could be open, but then there's been a late change that allows some of those potentials. So those sorts of things are actually changing some of the planning that's in place as we go. As we're planning and preparing, we know a number of different things that will affect relaunch, and especially with facilities that are currently in maintenance. In maintenance right now, Kinex Arena is in maintenance until July 5th. Jerome McGinley is under maintenance till August 3rd, and Fountain Park Pool is under maintenance till July 13th. The positive about these facilities won't be shut down for maintenance this fall, and we'll have a shorter outage because facilities in recreation and parks were able to take advantage of the closures due to COVID to facilitate these maintenance pieces that need to be done. The city's also been working with our partners and leaseholders to facilitate their re-entry through reviewing their relaunch plans. The following groups have been supported, and obviously the items that we've talked about before that are open are the Art Gallery, St. Albert, the Heritage Museum, and St. Albert Tennis. New information is we've been working with the St. Albert Minor Baseball Association, WARES, VASA, St. Albert Soccer Association, St. Albert Rugby Football Club, and St. Albert Botanic Park. And they're opening for different portions and different things. The Botanic Park is is opening for outdoor weddings, and the rugby club will be opening their bar. And other components are dealing with different things. The provincial guidance documents and that we've been looking at over this last while have a number of common features, and their guidance that remains for all sectors. And the guidance that remains in place is physical distancing of at least 2 meters, and use physical barriers where required. Also follow all mass gathering restrictions. When stage 2 begins on Friday, the maximum will be 50 for indoor social gatherings and a maximum of people for outdoor events and indoor seated audience events. There's guidance in terms of modifying activities where required to ensure following public health orders. Also consider using bookings for various activities to help maintain capacity, and continuing to promote frequent and proper hand hygiene and limit the use of shared equipment. The other pieces that are common are developing and implementing procedures for increasing the frequency of cleaning and disinfecting high touch points, ensuring highly visible signage, and some sectors require specific floor decals to direct traffic and promote physical distancing. Also, in most facilities, a rapid response plan is required to deal with individuals who come down with COVID on site while on the site. And there's a number of different details in all the different kind of sector guidance documents that have different things, such as the swimming pools, and swimming pools require screening patrons to ensure they don't have COVID-19 symptoms, reducing overall number of participants in swim classes and swim camps to ensure physical distancing can be maintained, and ensuring at least one individual on deck is designated as a COVID-19 individual responsible to ensure adherence to physical distancing and other public health guidance. That's an example of some of the higher level details in those different documents. And we've gone through these documents and received them actually at the same time the public received them on Tuesday after the announcement from Dr. Henshaw. Do you have any questions, further questions on this?
Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, sorry. Thanks for the update, Percy. I really appreciate it. Now, you said 50 interior, and then you kind of moved past. So what was the maximum for exterior again? They raised those limits too, correct?
Those limits are raised to 100 people for outdoor events.
Right. And same physical distancing issues. And then there's also team sports up to 50, if I remember.
Yeah, and especially where there's indoor team events, there's actually a cohort option of up to 50 players.
So if eventually we open up service, kind of the I'm trying to remember the right word, community use, where, and we may not, but we will have to limit the number of participants inside our rec facilities at that time. Is that kind of the thought we're looking at now?
With recreation, they're actually going through this very carefully, and yes, there are those interior restrictions and restrictions on people in the facility.
So for a facility like Service or other large regional rec facilities, do we have any total as to the number of patrons, and does that number also include staff?
We're working through those details at the current time. I don't have the exact piece on that. Recreation's been tasked and working on that piece for all the specific details.
Okay, and so when you say recreation's working with Alberta Health Services or the Chief Medical Officer of Health? Is that where we're getting information from?
We are getting guidance from health, yes.
I mean, as you can imagine, and I'm saying this more for anybody who's watching on YouTube, is that, you know, we've got the 3 arenas, we've got the fitness facility, we've got the pool, we've got the 2 indoor fields, we've got the community use area. You know, if there's limits on the interior, there's going to be challenges, because if you got to factor in the staff to maintain those, there's going to have to be some awareness of some of the challenges we're facing as we try to reopen our facilities. So that was more of a rhetorical comment and not necessarily a question.
All right, I've got a question if you're done there, Councillor Mackay.
Yep.
You're good for now? I guess
now.
my question kind of goes back to those maximum numbers. So say we're allowed 50 people in an indoor setting. So at Fountain Park, during normal kind of swimming lessons on a Wednesday afternoon, how many people would we normally have on deck? I know the answer to that, but I'm curious to know if we have kind of ballpark numbers, just to give an idea of kind of what Councillor Mackay was alluding to in his comment.
We actually are working with Recreation on providing a master planning document for facilities that will have all that information in there, kind of the historical use, as well as some of the specifics within that.
Okay. And I guess my other question is, are we following up with the province in terms of whether different parts of the facility could have kind of those maximum numbers in it? So for example, at Fountain Park, we've got the preschool downstairs. So could we have our 8 kids in the preschool plus 50 people on deck? Is that something that we're following up with in the province? I don't believe those are in those documents.
Yeah, that's not specific within the documents, but yes, we're working with the province on those specifics.
And I also have a question. So you mentioned that to reopen anything, we'd have to have a rapid response plan if anyone on site was found to have COVID. Don't we? Do we already have that in place? I got the impression that we do.
In terms of things, we actually have a process in place, but it's for our staff, and it's a matter of tweaking and changing that to deal with patrons as well as staff members.
Okay, thank you. And I guess I don't know if kind of this is the section where, Carrie, your preference was to go in camera to discuss some items, I believe, about facilities.
Yes, we can do that.
Do you want to do that?
If the AC so wishes.
Okay, Ken, did you have anything else to ask in public?
Just confirmation with the decision to open up theaters, movie theaters, museums, and the like. Just to reconfirm, we're not. The Arden is closed for the rest of the performance season, correct? Or is that something we're going to talk about during the in-camera conversation?
I can probably, we had made the decision to, based on the previous phasing approach by the province, to close down the Arden through the season. We're looking at considerations of how the new phasing and numbers and stuff like that may impact the Arden. Most performers and stuff have canceled for the season. So whatever we kind of do there, we have to kind of look at those numbers and stuff, and it might be a little bit more of a localized approach. All City of Edmonton theaters are closed to 2021. So we're looking at our options right now.
Okay, thanks. It was just more of a comment in relation to the fact that the province is moving on theaters, but you know, there's logistical challenges, I'm sure, with performers. Anyways, okay, thank you. That's all I had.
It's just on that too. I don't know. I read the documents, and without being able to sell out shows, the financial viability is tricky.
Very difficult.
Okay.
no, costs
If
more
we're
to
ready
put
to
'em
go
on.
in camera, Councillor Kai, I think
Yep.
Tamara posted that in there.
Yeah, no, I saw it already. That committee move in camera to have a confidential dialogue in accordance with the provisions of section 24(1)A of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act.
Call for the vote.
Unanimous.
Look at that. I'm shocked. Okay, we'll see you guys in Teams, and then we'll come back out to Zoom. So can kind of once we're, oh, it looks like we're live. No, we're not live on YouTube. Whenever we're live again, if you want to do the hush hush motion. Ooh, I think we're back. Are you talking, Ken?
Yes, sorry, I apologize. So I just don't, I have a blank screen or black screen in front of me.
Huh.
Is everyone-
I see everybody.
Hmm.
You can hear me, but just can't see people?
I just see a little bit of, I just see the camera, the speaker view, so I'm not sure what's happening. But anyways, I can move forward and make the motion anyways.
Sure, that'd be great.
That the details of the in-camera discussion remain confidential pursuant to Section 153E of the Municipal Government Act.
All right, all in favor? That was unanimous. So I guess to wrap up, Percy, we had got some announcements from the province this week about kind of changes to the reopening plan and schedule. Can you comment on kind of what our plans are to respond to those?
Yes, we are working.
I think you're good now. Yeah, Cindy's
Okay.
muted now.
Okay, you bet. Okay, perfect. So in terms of things, what we're working on is a master plan for facility relaunch in a cross-functional team with staff across the organization to bring forward to the Emergency Advisory Committee at the next meeting. And this plan for opening facilities will be following a number of different guiding principles. These guiding principles are not in any specific order of importance, but will all be considered in the process. And Cindy will share the screen with you so these guiding principles will be up on the screen so everybody can read them. That outdoor facilities will be prioritized over indoor to the extent feasible. Facilities will be brought back when ready, using cost recovery to the extent possible. Identify what regional partners are doing with their facilities and consider impacts of our decisions for our residents and our services. Where possible, prioritize reopenings to meet the demand of user groups. Impacts to service levels and resource capacity will be considered. Organizational risk and responsibilities will also be considered in the opening of facilities. So this will be brought forward back to the Emergency Advisory Committee with information on these components, on all the recreational facilities, and we'll also be looking at these in light of cultural facilities as well, but following the immediate needs for recreational facilities and looking at those pieces.
Great, thank you. Councilor Kai, did you have any questions on that? You're on mute.
I apologize. Yeah, no, I know. I'm having, I don't know whether the host can help or not, but all I have is a blank screen. So I can see little tiny in the corner, but I guess it's not important. No, I just want to say thanks to administration for moving that forward. It goes to some of my earlier comments around some of the challenges that are still in front of us as we move forward to on the province's relaunch strategies. So I just have to emphasize that we still need to have a little bit of patience as we move forward, because you know, whether it's adhering to the guidelines that the Alberta Health Services have put in front of us, plus also trying to get our staff back, and also dealing with some of the cost impacts. These are going to continue to be ongoing challenges in the short term. So patience is going to be needed by our residents, and I appreciate all the work that staff will be doing over the next week to get the committee the information we need to move forward. So that's pretty much wraps it up from me, Madam Chair.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. And my only other comments are, you know, it certainly is a priority to make sure that we're keeping our staff and patrons of our facilities safe. So I really appreciate the work that admin is putting into making sure that that is possible. So does anyone else want to comment on this before we go forward? No? Okay, the next item on our agenda is emergent items. I don't think we have anything with that. No. Soul, do we want a soul? I don't want a soul. Ken doesn't want a soul.
No, not unless it's spelt the other way.
Committee meeting schedule. I think the plan is to meet again this time next week and play it by ear then as well. Any comments on that? No.
Yeah, no. I mean, so the intent is for the report to come back at the next EAC meeting, correct? So next week.
Yeah, is that right, Mr. Hiltz? Yeah.
Okay.
We can't hear you, but I think you're saying yes.
Unmute. Sorry about that. So I was going to ask. I was just going to say yes by next week. But did you want us to review the 5 or 6 priorities?
It's done already.
Okay, perfect.
But yeah, and it's also important that we do point out that in addition, there are cultural activities as well, or the culture events as well. That in addition to rec.
That was good, Percy. Thank you. All right, nothing else for that. Okay, unless we have anything else, I'm going to adjourn this meeting. Going once, going twice. Okay, this meeting is adjourned. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for everything, you guys.
Thank you.